before we carry on talking here, we think it's time now to introduce the British public to Big Brother. There really is a Big Brother, or maybe we should say Big Sister, because the name of this person, this is the creative director in charge of the whole project, runs the whole thing. She's the puppeteer. It's Sharon Powers. Hello, Sharon.
Hello, Sharon. Hi, Richard. Hi, Judy.
Long time no see. You've risen to a position of great eminence since we last worked together. You are Big Brother-esque. You are Big Sister. It's your show. It's your game. You call the shots. You've heard what all these guys here have been saying about it, and obviously you've been reading all the stuff in the press over the last 3 months.
Yeah.
How would you respond to the big criticism, which is that it's the producers who become the stars, not the guys in the house?
Well, I don't think that's true, and obviously the big challenge for us each year, as you've said already, is how do we reinvent the show and move it forward. And so every series we come up with new twists and new turns and new challenges for the housemates, but they're designed to see how the housemates' characters will unravel, and it's the housemates who always drive the show. Without good characters in there, whatever we do will fall flat.
Do you ever worry, Sharon, about, I mean, for example, about some of the housemates being a bit vulnerable? Like, for example, there was a lot of worry. Actually, it's proved to be unfounded about Pete going in, because he does have Tourette's syndrome, and a lot of you know, a lot of the mental health agencies said this is outrageous. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, when we first met Pete, obviously we talked to him a lot about his Tourette's, and we talked to experts in Tourette's, etc., to make sure that we knew he would cope. And the thing for us when we were making the decision about whether Pete should go in or not is, why should his Tourette's prevent him from going in? And I think, you know, we've proved to everybody that Pete is a wonderful character and has been a brilliant housemate and absolutely deserves to be in there.
How do you feel personally? Just 1 second. How do you feel personally, Sharon, at being Big Brother, at running the whole thing? Because, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of manipulation, and I mean that in the most positive sense in terms of a television show. You must go to bed feeling all-powerful.
No, not at all, actually, because when you're kind of running Big Brother as such, and there's a huge team of people who do that, we come up with lots of ideas and ways to pull the rug from beneath the housemates. But we never know how those individuals are going to react, and Big Brother for me is at its best when it's slightly out of control, and we don't know what's happening, and that's when it shines.
OK, you think Paul Morley's got the question for you?
Well, I was going to say about Pete, actually. It is interesting about Pete, because I think very quickly we got over the fact he had Tourette's, just treated him as a character, which is fun enough when we decided we didn't like him as much, because he's the kind of guy you run away as a street entertainer from, do you know what I mean? But I think the Nicky thing was interesting, though, because in a way there was an inevitability about Nicky going back in. They could have almost just stuck her back in rather than having to go through the 4 or 5 days of distraction, because in a way you kind of, I mean, the rumour has been that you wanted Nicky back in. She eventually did go back in. There was a kind of an inevitability about it, and she's not been the same really being back in. That for me was one little distraction, one detour.
Well, I don't agree actually that it was inevitable, and had we wanted to put Nicky back in, and we knew she was popular, and we would have just let the viewers decide potentially, but we didn't. We put 4 ex-housemates back into the house next door and let the housemates decide, and again, we can never predict how those housemates are going to react and who they might choose.
God, Shazza, you and I've got good. You're really political. You're terrific.
Boyd
Hilton's got one.
Sharon, Boyd here. Hello.
Hi.
Would you be tempted, though, say next year, 1 year, just to do a real back to basics Big Brother, and just think, let's rein back the kind of gimmicks and the extra secret houses and the this, that, and the other, and just really go back to kind of how it was first or second year, or do you think it's just too late for that?
I think that the key to keeping Big Brother as the #1 reality show is to try and surprise the viewers and the housemates. And what you realise when you go out auditioning around the country is that the people who want to be on the show absolutely understand what we do behind the scenes. And I think that going back to basics could possibly be the biggest twist yet, because no one would expect us to do that.
Yes.
But I think it's important that we keep pushing the boundaries.
Just before Emma comes in from the Sun, what's going on with Nicky behind you? She's walking round and round and round. Like she's, we've cut away from it now, typically. She's just going round and round. Do you know what's going on there?
I'm not watching it at the moment, but I suspect she's having a tantrum, Richard.
Yes, I suspect she is, yes.
Probably a good guess.
Emma, what do you want to say?
I'd be interested to know, obviously there was big complaints about the viewers having to vote to put the people back in, and the money all went to charity, which is how you kind of explained that away. But now people are having to vote for Nicky, rather, again. So if you were a Nicky fan, you've had to vote for her twice. How would you justify that if the viewers complained?
Well, I think the viewers now know that we're always coming up with lots of different twists, etc., and they've come to expect that, and it's something that we've done before. We put John Tickle back in year 4, so it isn't actually something new.
But he wasn't eligible to win, I don't think, was he?
No, he wasn't, but, you know, again, we have to try new things out, and it's fun, and it's entertaining, and it's a TV show.
Richard, I just have to ask, from certainly the voting fans, anti-Aisling bias. I think over the last few days we would say, unbelievable the way that you frame her.
How on earth can we edit Aisling in any other way than the way Aisling is?
You do, and you have done.
Right.
and it's outrageous. Is it true that there has been some sense of setting up a finale that Aisling didn't play a part in?
Absolutely not.
All right, Sharon,
Okay.
two questions, very quickly. Short answers, please, Sharon. One, who do you think's going to win tonight? Viewers vote. You're not going to say, are you?
Oh, who do you think's going to win, Richard?
Actually, I'd like it to be Nikki, because I think she's really funny, but she's kind of overdone it this last few days since she went back in. And secondly, what's the most unfair thing you've read about Big Brother since it started 3 months ago?
That we're manipulating the viewers and that we're changing the footage so that certain people are more popular than others.
So that's all done then. Thank you very much,
All right,
Sharon.
good luck,
Thank
good
you.
luck on the last
Tonight.
episode.
Good luck.
Okay,
Nice
thanks
to
for
talk
joining
to you.
us.
Just very briefly before